When I was younger, my family and I moved into an old house in a quiet neighborhood. From the very first day, something felt off about the place. Even though the furniture was new, there was an unsettling atmosphere in the air. But what really terrified me happened one night when I was about 12 years old. I was lying in bed staring at the ceiling. The moonlight filtered through the window, and the house was completely silent. Suddenly, I heard a low noise, like something dragging along the hallway. I thought it might be my little brother, but when I looked toward the hall from my bed, I saw a shadow at the end. It was still, motionless, as if someone was waiting to take the next step. Fear froze me in place. The shadow seemed to be staring directly at my room, but I couldn't quite make out who or what it was. I felt like I shouldn't move, and I didn't. I don't know how much time passed, but suddenly the shadow disappeared as if someone had taken a step back. Without thinking, I got up and went to my parents' room, but to my surprise, they were both sound asleep. When I told them what I'd seen, they thought it was just a nightmare, but I knew what I had felt. Years later, I learned the house had a dark history, although I never knew if that was truly what I'd seen that night. Several years later, I moved again, this time to a larger city. I thought the incidents from the old house were just distorted childhood memories, until something else happened. One night, I was home alone watching TV when I heard the sound of the front door slowly opening and closing. At first I thought it was the wind, but the noise was too clear. I got up to check, but when I reached the entrance, everything was silent. However, something seemed off. The rug in the hallway was slightly shifted as if someone had walked through it. My heart started racing. I looked around but saw nothing unusual. That night I couldn't sleep, and as I made my way to my room, I felt someone watching me from the hallway. I couldn't see anything, but the air felt heavy, like someone was just behind me. I quickly turned around, but the darkness surrounded me. I decided to sleep with the light on that night. The next morning, I found something that chilled me to the bone. On the entryway mirror, there were blurry fingerprints, as if someone had touched the glass. The strangest thing was that I was alone in the house, and the fingerprints didn't belong to anyone in my family. The last incident was the strangest and most unsettling. One night I was waiting for an important phone call. I knew it was going to be a pivotal moment for my future, so I stayed home, waiting by the phone. Suddenly the phone rang, and when I answered, there was no one on the other end. Only heavy breathing, almost like someone was whispering from the other side. I quickly hung up, thinking it was a prank, but the phone rang again shortly after. This time, I decided not to answer. However, the calls kept coming again and again all night long, and no matter how many times I hung up, it always came back. I was terrified. The next morning, when I checked the call log, I noticed something chilling. The number that appeared was the same as the one I had dialed earlier, as if the call had come from my own phone. But that wasn't the strangest part. The most disturbing thing was when I checked the call history. The number I had dialed was my own line, but with a different area code. I felt as though I had been trapped in a loop with something, or someone, trying to send me a message that I never fully understood. The most terrifying thing about these experiences wasn't what I saw or heard, but the feeling that something or someone was always near, watching me, trying to communicate in ways I couldn't comprehend. I don't know if it was just coincidence or if something truly paranormal was going on, but what I do know is that those nights changed the way I see the world.